Okay, so we're back again, and we're gonna continue on using the wax brush. Okay, so you can see there that now I've made it much more defined. I've brought up the subdivision levels, so we're possibly at subdivision 4 maybe at the minute. And you can see there, still using the wax tool, but I actually put on the steady stroke, which is over in the right hand corner there. As you can see, the steady stroke is checked and there's a distance of 4, so it's pretty much just a default there. As you can see there, using the steady stroke can give us much straighter angular lines. So you click and drag to move the, if you want to think of the engine forward, which is the line with the arrow coming out of it, and then the carriage and everything else will follow afterwards. So you can very highly detailed sculpting on it and keep it very smooth and angular as well at the same time. So I'm just really refining the areas that I've already put down in detail. I just undo that there because it didn't work out exactly how I wanted it. So I've just done it again. So just practice with the steady stroke on, even with a very short distance on it, and it's an incredibly powerful tool. And as I said, I'm still using the actual wax tool for this. So just redefining and straightening up lines in areas. And another thing that I want to point out is you haven't seen me, work on the character's face from the beginning and just focus on that. As you can see, I'm constantly rotating around the model. I'm building up all the areas of the model at the same time, as opposed to focusing specifically in one area and then getting to a detailed stage on that and then zooming out and realize that I haven't done any sculpting in the torso or the arms. So build up all the areas together, and add the subdivision levels when it's time to move on. As you can see there, just undid that again. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to get the angle that you want, and you will get used to it. And you can see there that that's the doubling up of the panels, sort of the two layers that I was speaking about in, I think, video 2. So it's started to form. It's looking nice now at the minute. As you can see, very angular areas, and after I draw the stroke on it, you can see that I sort of pause for a second and change the angle and then continue on with the new angle. So that's all being doubled up, obviously, because I have mirroring on in the X. And this is another sort of doubled up panel. You can see again, very nice angular strokes on that. Okay, so you can see that it's still looking very organic. It still has a very natural flow to it instead of a very hard surface area. So we will be getting in and flattening off these individual panels, and then using the pinch tool, and we could even go in as far as using the knife tool to properly dig in. So we may do that a small bit later on, but I don't want to dig in too deep with it because I want to keep the leather sort of material coming out of it all wrinkled and everything else. So you can see with the steady stroke, it's doing a great job to help these panels stand out, to make them squared off and much more angular. And it's just really getting used to, you know, doing your stroke, pausing the stylus for a second, changing the angle that you're actually stroking it in, and then continuing on to move the mouse or the stylus. And for the straps and I suppose the parts of the suit that will be more material than metal, you can see that I'm still using the steady stroke on them, and it's helping to define them a lot better too. So you work on going over all the straps areas, holding on the panels for the arms there. So as you're seeing, in a subdivision level lower than this, so in the previous video we would have gone with the wax tool and just drawn out them areas and built up them areas, and now we're coming in with a smaller brush size and a steady stroke just to, you know, define it a lot better. And as you can see from the overall suit there at the minute, it's starting to work, and we're getting a nicely defined area for each of the panels. And again, back to the backpack, and just trying to refine the areas that we plotted out in the previous video, using steady stroke here, and pretty much the same continuing on. I'll leave the video recording anyway, so you can watch the whole lot of it. If there's anything new, I'll pop in and describe what's happening. Give a bit of detail to the hands there, sort of half gloves, I suppose. We'll texture up the fingers and that sort of thing with the same textures as the face. You want to add sort of wraps of cloth around the base of the hands, as if like around the wrist there, so it looks like it's underneath the panels as well. Just redefining the actual straps on the lower arm panels there. Here I start to add in sections, so panels within the actual main structure itself. Not too sure about this sort of lightning bolt one, but it's what I did at the time and I'm sticking with it. This one is much more military looking. Quite like that one, so we can go in later and actually pinch that together to give it a much more defined look. And again, over this sort of masquerade helmet mask thing that this character has, it's just redefining what we plotted down previously in a lower subdivision. So you know, up the subdivision level, get in there and start redefining it so that it's standing out a bit more clear. As you can see, I'm not being hugely careful with the strokes that I'm putting down. Sort of getting through it quite quickly. I know that later on we can come in and redefine them again on another subdivision level, or even on just on a separate layer, so we can create a new sculpt layer and use the pinch tool to go around and just help refine these panels in the different areas a bit better. So I just undid that there because it was at a slightly awkward angle to get it, and it just wasn't the line that I wanted, so just undid it a few times. Actually, it was quite tricky to get that that muscle that comes from the base of the ear down to the center of your chest.